trying to give people the idea that they don't gotta just keep eating fast food all the time. It is optional eating whole food. And we're trying to get them the opportunity to really start their own garden.
What would you rather eat?
You keep it at bed. I like soul food and homemade stuff. I might have a little lettuce on the side with a salad with some blue cheese on it. That's nice.
Oh, they're pretty sour. Are they?
No.
Really? They're sweet?
It's good. It's good.
Really?
It's great.
Give me one. Okay.
We'd rather eat the fresh one.
Yeah, it's fresh food, but
That's the right answer, but what's the real one?
We'd rather have the salad.
Yeah, I understand, believe me. Except I can't stand stuff. I would rather eat ice cream. In the summer, the only thing I want to eat is ice cream. I have a summer diet, ice cream and tomatoes. That's all I want to eat. Something with
Unique combination. Yeah.
ice cream. I get tired of ice
Catch up
cream.
on your ice
Wow.
Huh?
I get tired of ice cream after a while.
Never.
What are you, nuts? I could eat ice cream all day long during the summer. I can't do it now. Okay.
Did you start this garden?
No. I'm not that old. Just think I'm that old.
No, this is my first time being here.
Okay, so this garden was started in right around 1976. Okay, and at that point it was just a vacant lot filled with weeds. It had been industrial land that had just sat here. And if you think about 1976, the airport was very small at that time. And it was probably just maybe one or two of the terminals that we have today. So and I think they're now A through F, and I think the international terminal, and I think we had A and B at that point. It was a very small little thing. No one ever thought that the airport would expand the way it's expanded. So the neighbors just to the north of us in Eastwick got together and started a garden out here in 1976, and this is called the Eastwick Common Ground Garden. And they had a meeting at the Eastwick Library, which is on the corner of just Lindbergh and basically. And since that time, it was 40-some years ago, not 35 years ago, they've been out here gardening. So if you think about it for a moment, most of the land was just like everything else in Philadelphia, what we call urban land. It was weed-filled, there was no soil up there. And gradually over the last 45 years, they've improved everything. So the soil they brought in, they made it, they used compost, they used horse manure, they used everything in the world they could to actually make really good soil. So still in 1991, the Redevelopment Authority of Philadelphia, which is the real estate arm of the city government. Okay? In 1991, the Redevelopment Authority offered to sell, or literally almost to give the land to what we call a land trust. Anyone know what a land trust is? A land trust is an organization that holds land in perpetuity. Okay, so it takes it out of the market for all time and keeps it forever. And all the gardeners would have to do is to pay a limited amount of insurance, and they get a special rate for water. But really, all they would have to pay for is just some upkeep and this liability insurance. But it would have raised the plots from $4 to about $25. And for a lot of people here, that's a lot of money. So that, what we're looking at is one plot is $4 a year, $5 a year for normal people, $4 a year for seniors over 65. Okay, but most people have, let's say, 5 and 6 plots. That's how they grow enough food. So that means that, they would be increasing their dues per year from about $25 to $125 a year. So they said no, it wasn't working. No one at that point imagined that this would become very valuable land. Redevelopment Authority gave them a 15-year lease from 1992 to about 2007, I think it might have been 1993 to 2008. But it was a 15-year lease and everybody was happy. But in the meantime, the airport started growing. You'll see Hertz right next to us over there. You'll see parking lots across the street. And you have, an expressway entrance right there on Island Avenue. So this is really valuable land. And in 2007, the Redevelopment Authority transferred the land to the City Aviation Division, Commerce Division. So all of a sudden, the Aviation Department owns it instead of the Redevelopment. The Aviation Department's mission is really to develop land for airport uses. Obviously, a garden is not one of them. So we're into one of those conflicts where you have people who have been here for 45 years and an owner who wants to develop this land for certain airport-related uses like a parking lot, so that they can make a lot more money on a parking lot than they can on a garden. Okay? So that's essentially what's going on here. But most of the people have been here for 45 years. They've improved the land. They have large enough plots that they can grow an awful lot of the food that they need to eat for the entire year. Yes, they have to buy certain things, and yes, they have to buy ice cream and stuff, but, they can tomatoes, they put up their okra, they pickle their eggplants, they pickle cucumbers for pickles, they, pickle peppers, and so they freeze things. They'll freeze their greens, so they have them all year round to eat. So most of the people are lower income seniors that are here. I just talked to a woman who's been here in Germany, but she's been in this garden for 30 years. And so the airport hasn't said when they're going to do this, but they are going to do it, okay? With this, I don't know if you know that there's a $15 billion expansion of the airport going on. Plus, with climate change, you probably don't know this, but the Delaware River is tidal. Do you know this? The Delaware River actually flows with the tides because it comes up from Delaware Bay. It's tidal all the way up to Trenton. And you actually have almost 8 feet of difference in some points between the high tide and the low tide on the Delaware River. But with sea level rise, it's starting to impact the activities of the airport. And so they're going to actually have to move some of the functions of the airport over to different places. Like I think UPS, for example, is right on the river. They're probably going to have to move someplace else, and this would be like the perfect spot for them, So that's kind of what's going on. So nothing has really been said that this is going to be done, but we all know that within a few years, the airport is going to take this over, even though they say, oh, no, we have no plans for this. We have no plans whatsoever. Well, they do have plans for it. It's a given that this is going to happen at some time. So you're displacing around 80 people in this whole process. So the question is, what happens to those 80 people? Mike DeBernardinus, who is the Commissioner of Recreation, is trying to reactivate most of the recreation center. There's one on, I think it's 73rd and Lindbergh, that has a lot of land around. You all know that land. It's all around Lindbergh Boulevard, sort of back to, I don't know what street that is back there. There's a lot of land. There's probably about 5 to 6 acres. Together, these two gardens are 9.4 acres. And I think he has maybe 6 or 7 acres. But the question is that, this is a whole social network that is out here. People are friends, they're old. Probably most of them don't want to move. Probably some of them can't move. So we don't know what's going to happen when this comes down the pike. So we've been trying to sort of organize to, gain some publicity, help gardeners out, help them stay. right now the leases go until the 30th of June, and if you think about it for a moment, they don't tell you, the airport doesn't give you a lease until maybe they'll start talking to you on June 1st. By that time you already want to be planting, you want to work in your garden for the season. So there's all sorts of little things like that that are also involved in sort of thinking through it. And I believe, if I remember correctly, on the leases, they can give 3 weeks notice to the gardeners and tell them to be out of here. So there's things that are, sort of, one would think are very unfair, these leases that the city gives that, need to be changed. And so this is just a great big uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen in the long run. We just don't know what's going to happen in the short run. Questions? Happy to answer. So where do you all go to school?
Pepper Middle School.
All go Pepper?